Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, or whatever the case may be. My name is Marcus, and I am the host of the Black Brazil Today YouTube channel, as well as the blackbraziltoday.com blog, where I analyze Brazil from the perspective of race. So this video I want to get into right now is it's not a follow-up report necessarily, but because I refer to this video in some ways, I could say this video accompanies another video that I did a couple of weeks ago. That video talked about how in Brazil, the absence of fathers contributes to the entry into a criminal lifestyle among young males. The study found that it was more likely without a parent in the household, a father in the household, that a male child would get involved in criminal activity, drop out from school and have problems in school and, having trouble with the law. So as I mentioned that video a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to get into the article that I made reference to in that video, which is talking about the rise of single mothers, particularly Black women in Brazil in the last decade. So the article, research shows that 90% of women who became single mothers in Brazil in the last decade are Black. This article is by Michael Fonseca of the Mundo Negro website. According to research by the Brazilian Institute of Economics, the Fundação Getulio Vargas, or FGV, the number of single mothers in Brazil has increased in the last decade. Between 2012 and 2022, this number grew by 1.7 million, with 90% being Black mothers. I always have to point out that I would assume part of that 90% of Black mothers includes brown mothers, because Black and brown, which means preto y pardo in Brazil, for activists of Black rights movements in Brazil, they consider those two populations to be together, Black and brown, which both should be classified as Black. But as I've had to repeatedly say that, I no longer subscribe to that. I know that there is a parcel of the Pardo population that could be considered Black, but there's a large percentage of Pardos who you simply cannot define as Black. So just keep in mind that 90% is probably referring to Black and brown mothers, because in terms of numbers, the Pardo population is much bigger than the Preto population. Okay, let's just keep this moving. In Brazil, 11 million women raise their sons and daughters alone without a father, and often without anyone to help them, according to a FGV research a study. Among them, 72.4% do not have a close support network. And all single mothers represent 15% of Brazilian households, most in the north and northeast regions. Now, those are the regions of Brazil that are considered, majority non-white, versus the south and the southeast that's considered majority or mostly white, particularly if you're speaking about the southern region, the three most southern states in Brazil. The survey was carried out by researcher Janaína Feijão. More than 50% of these mothers have not completed college or high school. Usually they had their first child at a very young age. At the time, they had to stop studying. So this tends to affect their professional career forever, because she interrupts her studies in a crucial phase of human capital accumulation, explained the researcher. Mothers who raise their children alone are also at a disadvantage in income and in the labor market. The survey showed that in the fourth quarter of 2022, the monthly income of a single mother was 2,105 reais, while that of a married man with children was 3,438 reais, 39% more. Compared to a married woman with children, the income was 2,626 reais per month in the fourth quarter, 20% more than a single mother. Unlike single mothers, the trajectory of men in the labor market is not affected after the birth of their children, says Feijão. But for a Black single mother, the scenario is even more complicated. Unlike a white or Asian single mother, the monthly income of mothers who declared themselves Black or brown, as I pointed out, Black or brown, was 1,685 reais per month, 39.2% less than other single mothers. So they're finding a color correlation here, where Black and brown mothers earn significantly less than those who declare themselves Asian or white. For Feijão, what explains this difference in mothers' income is the level of education and the age at which they had children. Only 3% of women who had children at age 15 or younger have gone to college. Among Black women, 9% of those who raise their children alone have attained higher education, so only 9%. The survey also reveals that 31% of black single mothers with children of different ages are outside of the labor market, while those who have children up to 5 years old, the number rises to 34.6. In comparison, for white and Asian single mothers, the number is 26.6% and 27.5% respectively. Black mothers tend to have children earlier, and this feeds the unfavorable situation in the labor market. Consequently, it will have repercussions on the salary level, says the researcher. So this is just from the Brazilian perspective, just showing the problems that black single mothers will have if they're having children, outside of wedlock, or if they had a partner that's no longer around. These are the problems that they're going to run into in terms of how much money they can make. In comparison to Asian and white women, what their performance in the job market is going to be. So we can see a color correlation in this inequality. I think there needs to be more research on this to show any other underlying factors, because what I've learned about studying race over the years is that I see that a lot of activists and militants on that left will present data to support their whatever agenda they have going, but they will significantly or just coincidentally leave out other factors. So this is what the numbers are showing, but I would like to dig a little bit more into this to find out some of the nuances that lead to the problems of black single mothers. Okay. So again, I consider this like in some ways a companion piece to the previous article, the previous video that talked about, the rate, how much a young male, his possibility of entering to a life of crime and having problems in school increases without the role of the father in the household. So anyway, this was a short video. I just wanted to present this because I had mentioned it previously. Tell me your thoughts on this, because I'm sure we've seen, for many of you who live in the United States, you've seen a similar problem affecting black communities in the United States. So I'm curious to know what you thought about this video and this research. Drop a comment in the comment section. Like this video, share this video, consider subscribing to this channel if you saw more than a few videos that piqued your interest. Click on the notification bell so you'll be one of the first to get new videos as I put them up. And with that said, I'm going to end this video here, and we request that you all come back and check out the next video that I post.